Yeah, take it.
You got it.
Yes.
Teach you to bring it.
Lesson learned.
I think it has to be read to be official, that's the unfortunate part of it. Whereas section 505.1 of the Ohio Revised Code permits a board of trustees to sell personal property, including motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, tools, or supplies which is not needed for public use, is obsolete or is unfit for the use for which it was required, and whereas the Board of Township Trustees of Champion Township, Trumbull County, Ohio, has determined that an internet auction is a cost-effective method of disposing of such property. And whereas section 505.1D of the Ohio Revised Code permits a Board of Township Trustees to sell such property by internet auction. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Champion Township, Section 1, that pursuant to Section 505.1D, the Board of Trustees of Champion Township hereby express its intent to sell personal property, including motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, tools, or supplies which is not needed for public use, is obsolete or is unfit for the use for which it was acquired by the internet auction. Section 2, that the Board of Township Trustees of Champion Township wishes to contract with GovDeals, Inc. to serve as a representative of the township and conduct auctions on behalf of the township. GovDeals, Inc. is a Delaware corporation having its principal place of business at 5913 Carmichael Place, Montgomery, Alabama, 26117. Section 3, that the items to be auctioned shall be inventoried, listed by department, given an appropriate identification number, and contains pertinent information as year, make, model, mileage, or use. A list of such items shall then be presented to the Board of Trustees at a regularly scheduled meeting for determination as to whether the property is no longer needed for public use or is obsolete or unfit for the use for which it is required. The board shall then adopt an appropriate resolution declaring said property to not be needed for public use, obsolete or unfit for the use of which it was required, and shall order the property to be sold via internet auction. But the Board of Trustees of Champion Township hereby designated the fire chief as the official point of contact for all internet auctions. This person shall be responsible for the following. A, establishing a minimum price for each item of township property auction. B, establishing terms and conditions for online sales which shall be displayed and available for review at the Township Administration Building. C, ensuring that the property is sold by internet auction in accordance with the resolution and the terms and conditions for online sales. And D, ensuring that the township receives all monies due and owing to the township as a result of the sale of said property. Section 5, that the internet auction will be conducted in the following manner under the following general terms and conditions. A, all property will be offered for sale subject to the Champion Township online sales terms and conditions. B, all property is offered for sale as is, where is. Champion Township, Trumbull County, Ohio makes no warranty, guarantee, or representations of any kind, either express or implied, as to the merchantability of fitness for any purpose of the property offered for sale. The buyer for any township property is not entitled to any payment for loss for profit or any other money damages, special, direct, indirect, or consequential, against the township that in any way relates to the purchase and or use of the property. C, all property will be available to the public on the GovDeals, Inc. website for a minimum of 10 days, including Saturday, Sunday, and legal holiday as required in section 505.1D of the Ohio Revised Code. If any township property offered for sale by internet auction is not sold within 10 days after being posted in the Gov Deals Inc. website. The township may withdraw said property from the internet auction at any time. E, township property shall not be transferred to a successful bidder until such time as guaranteed payment had been received in full. And F, the Board of Trustees, Champion Township, Trumbull County, Ohio, reserves the right to reject any bids and to withdraw for sale any item listed on Gov Deals, Inc. Section 6, the Champion Township shall collect all auction proceeds by means of cash, certified check or money order, and ACH. In addition, Gov Deals, Inc. shall be entitled to a fee paid by the purchaser. Section 7, that this resolution takes effect at the earliest time as may be permitted by law. Section 8, it has been determined that all formal action by the Board of Champion Township Trustees concerning the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of the Board of Trustees of Champion Township, that all deliberation of the Board of Trustees which resulted in formal action were in an open meeting to the public and in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
So moved. Huh?
Yeah. Here you go.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Did you second?
I second.
Roll call, Mr. York?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Field?
Yes.
Next is a motion to approve or deny appointing the township's legal counsel, Letson and Swader Company, LPA, the law office of Sherry Poteet, and Turner Man Shepherd at 150, 150, and 125 respectively on an as-needed basis. Township employees must have the permission of 2 trustees to utilize legal counsel services. Also, it should be noted that the Trumbull County prosecutor is the statutory appointed counsel for the township, and their services are provided free of charge.
Motion.
One thing I want to point out when I put this item on the agenda, I did not call Letson Swader or Cherry Poteet or Turner Man Shepherd. I don't believe I should open that door to see if it went up, because they probably would say yes. So if they would charge us more per hour, and we only approved 150, and we'd have to amend the motion for any additional legal counsel.
Thank you, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So
Do
who,
a motion?
A motion.
second?
Roll call, Mr. York?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Field?
Yes.
Next is a motion to approve or deny the appointment of the Township Records Commission for 2025, comprised of the chairman of the Board of Trustees, the fiscal officer, Carolyn Schaefer, and the Trumbull County auditor.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. York?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Field?
Yes.
Next will be a discussion regarding membership with the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber. According to the Tribune, we've already done this.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
In today's paper, yeah, so this was brought up last meeting, and we felt that we needed your input to go forward. My thoughts on it are, I think last year it was roughly $462 per year. This year it's $522.50. I just feel to see what the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber does for Champion Township. That might be a pretty harsh statement, but I welcome them here to talk to me about it. But I don't know what the other trustees feel.
I have worked with them on a couple projects in the township, Raw Corporation for one.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I also understand there's a gentleman that spearheaded that, and got that started prior to it being brought to the attention of the Board of Regional Chamber.
If you want, we can table for right now.
No, that's fine. I just,
What are your thoughts?
I'll just say what I said last year. We had this Research Parkway, educational highway, and that has been improved. It had sanitary sewer and water brought into that. It's well over 20 years ago that that's been sitting there. The active, it was called something else prior to active, I can't recall what it was, but that was the initial footprint that went in there. Then you had the International Bureau of Electrical Workers, and that almost didn't go in there because it didn't fall under the guise of educational purposes.
Correct.
So until the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers put a classroom in there, then they approved it to go ahead and reconstruct it. And just this last year and a half, we had Brawl Corporation come in there, and we certainly were excited about that, but there's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 large acreage parcels there that are still vacant. And I constantly hear on the news about this Voltage Valley. What better place to put something like that? I mean, you have Aptiv, who is a leader in EV and things of that nature, and it doesn't even come up in conversation. So that's my frustration.
I don't believe that we're ever given our due. I never have thought that, but where do they stand on projects such as Mercy, things like that? The regional change was pretty involved in that also, at least last I knew.
Well, that's another thing, this Mercy thing, Doug, that Champion Township was the last to know about anything on it.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
It's got us
Yeah,
in trouble,
we weren't brought in on any conversation.
and we're still not.
Yeah,
So, I mean, nothing's changed there.
I think that what has it gotten us in the past, and where are we at for the future? $500 isn't gonna make us, $500 isn't gonna break us. But I think that we should table and have a discussion as well. But I also think that with the new turnover of elected officials, I think we need to meet to let them know where we're coming from and to what our expectations are. And I think, it takes one small community to take that step to where others might follow that lead, to know that, let's face it, we didn't get the park levy, right? We didn't get the money for the park. Why? Because there's not enough voters in Champion to do that. We understand that. So we got to figure out how we can get around that. So I think there's more of a discussion needs to happen.
The regional chamber's not gonna get us around those hurdles, so, I mean, that's truly what the regional chamber's doing is steering the project our way. In defense of the regional chamber, and I will defend them somewhat, and Rex, I respect everything that you said because I believe that you're 100% correct. But at the same time, I think it's a totally different issue, and I think that issue lies more with Kent than it has ever lied with anybody else. Kent, excuse me, would not get off that property. We've had some other businesses that wanted to go in there over the years. Lee Hartman's a good example of that. It wound up down on South Avenue in Boardman, bought a building out on Kings Graves in Vienna. Several different established businesses that could have been here that are not for any other reason than couldn't secure the property back there. So I don't know that that's ever been a regional chamber's issue. I read a lot on Facebook where people say things about bringing stuff to Champion. We don't have parcels of property available for sale to bring projects here. Property that is for sale is none of it, very much of it, shovel ready for a business to locate here. That is some of the only properties we have shovel ready for industry and business. I can table this and think about it. I didn't put much thought in it. I've supported the regional chamber in the past.
We can just, I agree, Kent State has been a big burr in the
They have
development
been
of
a problem.
that property, no doubt about it. That little requirement that it had to be educational just didn't fit into any businesses, after all, business is business. I mean, it isn't an institution of learning. But I agree. I guess I just have frustration that it seems as though Champlain Township.
And I agree with that.
It's on the back.
That's a lot of my problem here is that you know, we've had many conversations about this, so you know my thoughts on it all.
I have 522.50, you know,
I don't see anything on here about the cog.
the thing is, if I recall, we were supposed to renew this prior to January 1st.
Mhm.
So we pushed out 6 days. I'm sure that if we want to be part of it, they'll take our membership fees. I would be really surprised. No, we don't want it. But, you know, we can move forward and do it. It's, I got it off my chest and we can move on it if you want.
You can also consider if you want to just do automatic renewal every year.
We don't yet.
No.
That was also suggested.
Of course it was.
You want to sum that up.
Want to go with it? I will make a motion to retain membership with the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber. What's the cost again?
$522.50.
At $522.50 for year 2025.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I know, it's 522.
Is it 522?
Go get it, but I'm pretty sure.
Off the top of my head, it's. You're right, it's 522.50.
That's what I said.
We have a motion. You made a motion?
I made a motion. Looking for a second.
Rick did second.
Did you second, Rick?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes?
Mr. Fee.
Yes.
Okay. Next up will be reports. We'll hear from the zoning inspector first. Gerry.
For the month of December, we had 2 sign permits, 1 fence permit, and 1 storage garage. For the year, last year, 2024, we had an increase of about $2.9 million in permits, fees, were $16,260. We had 33 fences, 7 swimming pools, 29 porch and decks, 8 agricultural, 3 additions, 4 new home starts last year, 9 transient permits, and 19 outbuildings and sheds, 10 signs, and we had 70 garage sales. We have been having an issue on State Road with the people shooting cannerite out there. Had several calls about that. Loud booms, you know. Larry's been out there, he knows about it. It is illegal to have cannerite. You just gotta find them and catch them doing it, basically. And, you know, you can't know they're doing it until after they fire it, and by the time the police gets there, you know, it's hard to prove. So,
We've had some issues with a pond on State Road also. Where are we at with that?
they've been notified, so we'll just wait for response. They put a pond in, they only have 1.6 acres, you need minimum 5 acres for a pond, so.
Anybody got anything else for Gerry?
I just want to clarify your speech ran together there.
Yeah.
You said increase $2,903,099, and then you went right in permits.
Yeah.
So we didn't get that
No,
much.
no, the
We
permits
didn't
were
get that
60.
much permits.
The permits were
Just want everybody to know
60,000.
this.
60,000 permits.
Boy, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Come on, Jerry, tell us more permits.
Well, anybody going out here, boy, they made $2 million in permits.
And you said you don't work.
All right, Chief Skaggs.
All right, this report for December only. For the month of December, there were 511 calls for service. Out of that, 21 traffic crash investigations, 125 traffic stops, only 17 citations were issued. There were 5 adult arrests, 1 juvenile arrest, 4 were arrested on warrants. We had 2 domestic violence, which actually I think is the lowest number since I've been the chief, and 36 criminal incident reports made for the month of December. Some of the highlights, again, we're still working with R.D. Banks and his ongoing donations to the police department. He's donated $12,000 for 32 tires for every one of the police cars. That's on days like today, as you can see, are beneficial. All officers have completed their continuing professional training for the year. 2025 requirements have been released. I'll kind of abbreviate some of that. Remind the board that half of that cost is reimbursed annually by the state. For the month, we also, all the officers got together. We provided 6 families with full Christmas dinners. Those meals were delivered on Christmas Eve to some less fortunate families. Officers also participated in the annual shopping event this year. We took 11 kids to Walmart. Each kid got $300. Those event proceeds were raised through raffle sales and donations from local businesses and families. Many thanks to those noted on the report. Demarine family, Peace family, Clementino, and Kellers were amongst some of them that donated significantly. Officers conducted community policing contacts during initial traffic stops and incidents. We handed out a dozen frozen turkeys and 10 cooked hams, fostering relationships with community members. In the month of December, there was no OVI overtime approved. The OVI task force took a month break. An additional crime scene processing station has been established, and storage has been installed in the new garage. That will allow us to do some fingerprinting, some fuming, and some DNA collection in a confined space now, controlled. Pending, we did interview 1 applicant for part-time and full-time employment. Currently, the applicant is employed by another local agency, so we're trying to steal him. We currently have charges pending for some damage that was done to the cemetery and theft. Canine Storm and other officers have recovered at least 2 packages of substances believed to be heroin and fentanyl this month. Those lab analysis are pending. We did close 1 rape case. We currently have 1 active rape case. It is still ongoing with the Trumbull County Prosecutor's Office. We have 1 juvenile pandering obscenity case still pending. And some people may have seen we're participating in a multi-agency investigation with the Secret Service and the Ohio Investigative Unit into the recent skimming devices found at local grocery stores. For those that don't know, Sparkle was hit by a skimming device. Fortunately for our local Sparkle, an astute employee and a patron noticed the skimming device before anybody used the skimming device. So it was shut down and removed by the ownership. Unfortunately, they kind of put their fingerprints all over it before we could get to it. But part of that gang is believed to be a Romanian organized crime ring that is targeting the Northeast Ohio area. So, Currently, we're still working to find the gentleman involved in involuntary manslaughter with our 15-year-old overdose death. He was a drug dealer that sold her the drugs. And we're completing our end-of-year inventories and reports for next month. We'll also have our evidence locker audit will be conducted this next week in anticipation with joining the Ohio Collaborative and sometime here in hopefully 2025. Administratively, car 55 is now out of service with a blown engine and transfer case. That car had approximately 200,000 miles on it. It's going to be replaced by car 62, which will eventually be received by us from Niles PD. And that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Larry?
You said car 55, is it 58?
It's 58, it's the one being replaced by 62.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Thank you. Next up, Shawn Dance.
Community cleanup and tire scrap grant. What are we doing this year? Because I have to do this.
Do you not remember this last year?
Believe me, I remember when I got to get the yay or nay from you guys.
I thought we decided on last week.
Now you waiting for Doug.
We did. Oh, sorry, Doug.
We took such a beating on that last year.
$12,000 meeting, I know, believe
Well,
me.
it was more than just the dollars. It was the actual beating.
Yes.
Police department got beat up, the trustees got beat up, road department, the only one didn't get beat up was Dempsey.
You weren't there.
Probably not. He's probably down there painting.
He was here painting.
Ran out of primer.
This is what I gotta say about this. I believe in the cleanup day. I think it's a good program. However, I believe we need to come up with an alternative way to do this. We had traffic on Mahoning Avenue and 305 completely screwed up last year. Rex called me at one point, traffic was backed up clear down to St. Williams. What's that?
Past that.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we can, I don't know how else we can do it. But clearly that's not going to work anymore. Or was that just a fluke? Do we dare try it again? Exactly.
I mean, previous years were nothing like that, but that last year was absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry to say, but it was ridiculous.
Do you have thoughts on this at all?